Okay. Never expect to be sitting here, having this moment right now. Not like this. We had a good week of practice. We had good preparation all week long. Felt good energy the whole week, every day, every meeting. Felt like we had 3 good plans. Felt like the players were dialed in, and we just didn't get it done today. We just didn't get it done, coaching or playing. I give a lot of credit to Jacksonville, a lot of credit to that football team. I mean, we knew. That's not a surprise that we got their A game. That is not a surprise. So credit to them and their coaches and their players. They did a good job. I'll open it up.
Frank, what has happened to your team this bluntly the last 2 weeks?
Yeah. I don't know. That's what I just said in the locker room was, I don't have that answer right now. I don't have that answer right now. Got to reflect on that. What I said in there was, just learn and grow from. It was out. We started the way we started. It was out of our hands. We fought and scratched and clawed to get it back in our hands. And then the last 2 weeks of the season, we did what we did. And so, it starts with me as the head coach, and we got to figure out how we can close this season out the right way. How we can coach better, how we can play better. We had the opportunity, we had control of our own destiny, and we just didn't get it done.
Frank, the offense didn't do anything until very late. How would you evaluate Carson today?
I'm not going to evaluate any one performance individually until I watch the film, and then you guys know how I am there. I mean, I'm not going to give an open critique of every player, and we just got to be better. We got to be better in all 3 phases, and coaching and playing. I credit them. I credit Jacksonville, and we need to be better.
Frank, you said you weren't talking individual player, but your offensive line, 6 sacks, I believe that's a season high. Jacksonville had an additional 10 quarterback hits out there. That group, it just seemed like they couldn't get any type of continuity going up front against Jacksonville's defensive front.
Yeah, they came out and played hard, and they played well. And, it just started the way that game started. It couldn't have started any worse for us. We couldn't execute on offense. We couldn't convert a 3rd down or a 4th down. And then it seemed like they converted everything, and it seemed like Trevor was hot, and he was making every play, and we weren't making plays. And it was on both sides of the ball. So, felt like we were trying to climb out of a hole the whole day, and we just never really got into any rhythm.
Frank, as JT took over late in the season, teams obviously designed their defenses to stop him, especially the last 2 weeks. They held him in check for the most part. The passing game wasn't able to do its part, wasn't able to step up. Is that a fair assessment? And you take a lot of pride in the passing game. Where does that fall on your shoulders in terms of how disappointing is that?
Yeah, I mean, it all falls on my shoulders. I mean, I'm the head coach. So, but specifically to your question, Zach, I'm not trying to dodge the question. Yeah, I mean, we knew that would happen, and teams would stack the box. And there were a couple weeks where that was happening, and JT was still having very productive days. And I would probably argue and say he was, even when it got harder and we failed to have the, ripping off, 150, 200 yards, he was still being productive and still helping us, offensively. And, in the pass game, we just haven't been good enough. We weren't good enough the second half of the year, really, it felt like to me. We never really got into a rhythm. So that starts with me. It's obviously a group effort by all of us, but I know we can be better. We have a lot of years of being very productive in the pass game. I'm not saying that to minimize how poor it was, in the last couple of weeks or the last half of the season, however that looks. But I'm confident. I'm confident we can figure that part out.
Frank, I know that it's fresh. I know you're not the general manager of the team, all those things, but just generally, very broadly, can you acknowledge that when you have a season end like this, it causes reevaluation of pretty much everything? I mean, everybody, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, I mean, it's the NFL. I mean, this is the highest level there is. So we're all, it's all day-to-day stuff. So we love that about this business. I love that about this business. I never back away from that or shy away from that as a coach, for the players. You put your best stuff out there, and if it's good enough, they want you back. If it's not good enough, then they don't want you back. And then But you, as a player or as a coach, you got so much confidence in yourself that you feel like, I'm good. You know, if something didn't work out the way you quite wanted it in 1 year, you got confidence that you're going to put it out there the next year, whatever the case may be. I just think that's the way most players and coaches think, to be honest with you. So, yeah, it ends like this with 2 weeks back to back, and all those things that you're saying, Stephen, are very true and very fair.
Speaking of a passing game, I mean, Michael Pittman has been so consistent for you guys this year. So for him to not have a target in the first half, I mean, was there something they were doing to take him out of it, or what did you notice out there?
It just felt like we just didn't have a ton of snaps. We weren't converting. You know, we weren't converting. And then, you know, I mean, they took him away a couple times and just didn't go his way. And then, you know, we just didn't make enough first downs. When you don't move the ball, when you don't make first downs, nobody's going to get touches or targets, or no one's going to get enough. And that was really the story, you know, of much of the game, but especially the first half. You know, we weren't generating any offense. They were possessing. It felt like they were possessing the ball, you know, making first downs. And then when we got it, we didn't help ourselves. Poor on third down, missed a couple fourth downs that we never should miss. So that goes back to coaching and playing.
You mentioned the passing game in the second half of the season. Frank, you went out and said you wanted Carson in as a quarterback. If you look at his production as far as getting things done in the passing game, somebody question, did he do enough to show that he could be a long-term guy here?
Yeah, I think Carson did a lot. I mean, I think we're a team. I think he's our quarterback. And, you know, I think we're all going to learn and grow from this year. You know, how to utilize every player that we have to the fullest. I think there were a lot of bright moments for him, for Carson. So, again, I'm not going to go deep into individual assessment. But I certainly think when you look at the overall year, there was a lot of bright spots on this team in general. You know, there's still a lot of positives that you take from it. The one thing I will say that I said in the locker room is you got to have the maturity to understand that even though there could be a finality to this season, you can't just let it be in vain. You can't let it be in vain. You got to learn from it and you got to figure out, okay, why did we finish the way we did this year? And then let's not let that happen next year. So you get back up to that spot on the mountain next year. Hey, remember we were here last year. Remember what happened? That's not happening this year. That's the kind of stuff I think that we have to do.
Frank, you guys talked a lot about you guys climbing from 0-3 and 1-4 to get your spot. After the Cardinals game, you had 2 games to win and get in, and you didn't get it done. As a head coach, is this the most disappointing you've felt after a game in your 4 years here?
Probably so. Probably so. I mean, it's pretty disappointing, you know, the last 2 games. Last week was pretty hard, but just never expected it. Like I said, I thought we had, you know, I knew last week wasn't the best of weeks, you know, for a couple different, you know, and I don't really ever feel like that, but last week was a little bit off, but this week was back to normal. You know, we were humming, and great practice, great energy from top to bottom in every way, and so was not expecting this.